Hello everyone, welcome back to Cinema Savvy and welcome to another watch along. Today we are going to be watching through Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, but this time we're not going to be getting drunk. We're just going to go and watch the film and just have a chat about this film, which we all seem to love quite a lot actually, which is surprising for a film. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, I do really good, man. I'm just checking how many viewers we've got at the top, because when you said that we weren't drinking, I'm just expecting a mass exodus of people that are going to tune out immediately. It's still going to be a really fun stream, and we're still going to, just talk about this movie, just shoot the shit for a while, maybe throw in a bit of trivia if we know any about the movie, just talk about our experiences with the film. Because we all agree on this film that it was a pleasant surprise. We were talking about this beforehand that. I mean, for me at least, I wasn't expecting this movie to be any good. I wasn't going in this with any, rose-tinted glasses or anything like that. And yeah, it's probably one of the most enjoyable films, certainly of recent years, that I went to see. Honestly, I'd be very, very hard pushed to find something that I don't like in this film.
Yeah, it was one of them experiences where it kind of, one of the critics that coming out like, this is like game-changing. You're like, there's a chance. Like, there may be a Spider-Man film as good as the noughties decade, because there hasn't been one this decade. Well, this decade, last decade now. And
opinions on various different Spider-Man films do vary in the channel. I'm the only person who actually likes the MCU Spider-Man.
I think I don't mind some bits of it, but I mean, this came just after the Spider-Man PS4 game. Like, that was a really good few months of Spider-Man, and obviously we're getting a sequel, so there's no surprise there. Sony loved it too. And we're probably going to get the return of Tobias Maguire, which we will go into as this progresses.
But anyway, so you guys can watch along at home. You guys need to find a copy of this film. So whether you have it on DVD or if you're able to find a copy in other means, we're not going to suggest how you would do that. But I'm sure you guys can work it out for yourselves as well. Please also make sure to follow us on these social media links here. On Facebook at Cinema Savvy, Twitter Cinema_Savvy, Instagram Cinema_Savvy as well. And make sure that you subscribe to our channel as well, just to keep updated with all the stuff that we are doing, seeing as we seem to be upping our content during this lockdown. And I'm finding it really enjoyable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was the walk-away winner. I'd say it was probably a toss-up between this and Shrek. Not much love for Disney's Hercules, sadly. R.I.P. Maybe we'll get around to it at one point. But yeah, this had 62% of the votes. Obviously, we opened this one up to you guys this time to choose which one we watched, and the people have spoken. So, Spider-Man to the Spider-Verse it is, in case the graphic pulled you at the bottom. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to go if you guys are, unless we've got any other...
I am ready as well. If people need to, pause the video at this point, go find the copy and everything like that, so that you're synced up with when we start watching on our ends as well.
Now TV in the UK, guys, if you have Sky Movies or Now TV, it is on there. That's the only legal, non-paying, streaming one. Obviously, if you really want to rent it, don't rent it, just buy it. And it's a bit late now, but pause it, go to online shopping, wait a week for delivery, then watch it. But
people are like frantically adding to cart right now.
I mean,
but anyway, we are going to sync up when we start. So I believe we go on 0. We'll count down from 3, just so that everyone is on the same kind of timestamp as we are. So I guess we go straight into it. 3, 2, 1, 0.
So there was a scene from this movie that was a post-credit scene of a Marvel movie. Was it an X-Men film? I can't remember. There was a film that came out that it... Was it?
I can't remember
either. No. Are you thinking that The Amazing Spider-Man 2 had an X-Men post-credit scene?
No, there was that one. There was definitely a film that opened with that closed with a scene during the credits.
What came out in 2018?
And it wasn't Spider-Verse. It wasn't... I'm not sure. It wasn't. I know it wasn't Far From Home, obviously, but there was definitely a movie where it showed the whole subway train sequence with an unconscious Peter Parker.
I'm trying to remember now.
Oh, Venom! It was Venom. It was the post-credit scene of Venom, or mid-credit scene.
I didn't make it to the end of Venom,
and it was
I made
very,
it to
very
the end of Venom, but I don't remember watching any of the post-credit scenes. I do just want to say immediately, before you even get to the film, this film already feels different.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely one of the most comic book movies out there, and it's very similar to Lego Movie in many ways, which we'll get into in our commentary. But I actually didn't do much research into this film going in, so I didn't really know the parties involved in it.
I showed you the trailer and went, "This is going to be good."
Yeah.
I did exactly the same with Kubo, and I said, "This is going to be good," and you thought, maybe it'll be good.
I was immediately in that trailer. I was immediately struck by the animation and how lifelike it looked, and we'll get into it as we talk about the animation throughout the movie. But when I was watching it structurally and the type of humor, it felt very much like the Lego Movie. And then I realized that Phil Lord was involved in it, who was obviously one of the duos that worked on the Lego Movie and many other films. And the pace of it as well. Love this.
This is the thing, because this was like an unofficial Spider-Man 4 to a point. Like, this Spider-Man is so Raimi. I mean, they even used the dialogue from Uncle Ben from the first film in that moment. And
I think this would have made my life if they'd have cast Tobey Maguire instead of Chris Pine for this particular role.
But then it would have been really sad to see him die.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
It'd be like a nice passing of the torch, though. It is like a spiritual successor to the Spider-Man films, the true Spider-Man films.
I think we're going to get him in the next one. For those that haven't seen, Phil Lord and Chris Miller did a watch along on Twitter this week, so we're tweeting like behind the scenes stuff. And oh god, it's that song. It got stuck in everyone's head for a few months, didn't it?
Oh, I was singing it all today in preparation for this. It's definitely an earworm.
The best thing about all of it is that even on an animated Sony film, they still slapped the logo on the headphones as big as they could.
Oh yeah,
is it? Yeah, I'm wearing Sony headphones right now. I feel like I'm kind of feeding into the advertising here.
And this was actually my first proper introduction to Miles Morales as a character. Like, I knew that obviously he'd like shifted as the new protagonist in the comics. I don't know if he still is. I don't read comics, to be honest, or keep abreast with what's going on in there. But
I think he still is.
It was definitely a new take. And he's such a likable protagonist in the film as well. You instantly connect with him.
The problem is we've had three. I mean, don't get me wrong, Peter Parker is Spider-Man, you know. But when you've had 3 live-action Spider-Men inside 5 years, it's not 5 years, sorry, like 10 years. It just kind of made me think, like, you know, not to sit here and sort of moan at the MCU. Like, obviously, the MCU wanted Peter Parker, but you know how much more ambitious it would have been if they could have done Miles Morales, who would have suited him being a 10-year-old mentality-wise. That's the one thing I kind of had, but it was just nice to get a different take, because I don't think this film would work if it was Peter Parker as the lead, because Uncle Ben's going to die. Oh, it's Aunt May. And, like, yeah, we get all that. But we're able to do new things with this as this goes on.
While still paying respects to the stuff that we do know, with throwing Peter Parker in there still.
Them Air Jordans cost like £400 now, because they released them as like limited edition Spider-Man ones. And no one can get them.
I do also want to point out, like, this film, I don't want to use the words down with the kids, but this film was so well targeted to its audience. It knew who it was selling the film to, and it seems relatable in almost every single way for this kind of generation. But also, I can relate to it from like a slightly older on generation and everything like that. And I know that a lot of people have enjoyed it who are even older, like my parents and stuff like that, love this film. Like they've somehow tapped into just something that made it feel extremely modern, but at the same time, just like so real in this kind of modern age.
I think what can turn a lot of people off with this film, and I must admit there are moments in the film where I did kind of sit back almost breathless, like, is the pace of the film, the speed of the jokes, the speed of the animation, especially with this. And that's the comparison that I draw to the Lego Movie, in that when I first started to watch Lego Movie, the first 5 or 10 minutes, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because the pace was so frenetic. But I mean, this is a film where it does kind of leave you breathless in some bits because of that, but you do kind of get used to the style, you know, relatively shortly into the movie. And it's the animation as well. Like, I mean, we watch a lot of animated films on the channel and everything like that. Animated quiz coming next week, Thursday, 8 p.m. 8:30 p.m. But with animation nowadays, a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of animation studios kind of fall all under one style now. You know, Disney have shifted from hand-drawn into CGI. You've got DreamWorks, you've got Illumination, you've got a lot of these that do kind of have their own visual style, but it is inherently the same kind of animation. But when I watched this, and I was really hoping that this would win the Oscar for Best Animated Film, and I'm very glad that it did that year, in that it takes a lot for an animated film to come out where I really think this is actually elevating the genre that it belongs to. This is trying something new. This is pushing the boundaries of what can be done.
Now, I never saw Loving Vincent, and that's because I watched the trailer and the animation gave me a headache. And that's not like criticism; it's how it's animated.
It's personal taste. It's personal taste.
Exactly. And I like new things. Everything is the Pixar 3D render, and let's just animate a comic book. That's such a simple idea, which they did.
There's so many different styles in it, though. There are moments where it does look like Loving Vincent, the rotoscoped, cel-shaded kind of look. It kind of looks like the Telltale games that came out for a while, like the Walking Dead games. It looks computer animated, but then there's a point in this movie where it transcends that, and it almost looks like you suspend your disbelief, like you are actually watching real people, like a live action piece. There are elements of 2D in there. They play around with frame rates to it's amazing.
You need to keep out for the freak student that has the weird same smile, and he for some reason crops up loads. If you've never seen him, you won't. There you go.
Where?
He was at the front. He's got these big white teeth. He pulls the same face in at least like 3 or 4 scenes. And I think it's meant to be like a Phil Lord animation of Chris Miller like taking the mick out of each other.
Oh, Andy just says, let us know whereabouts you are with the film. So I am at currently 7:45.
5, 6, 7, 8.
So it's just the scene where he's just turned up late to class. He's just sneaking to his chair now, sat next to Gwen Stacy.
So the freak student is directly in front of Gwen Stacy, the glasses. He crops up in like 5 different animation things.
So if we were doing a drinking game right now,
you drink every time he does the smile.
I mean, this film's just so smart of how you're getting that information about. I mean, this is spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen this. The person who on the screen who turns out to actually be, so you're getting that information there. You're establishing the relationship. It's doing so much at the same time, and everything gets a payoff in this film as well. Got Andy Johnson, who's already getting on that Post Malone hype in the comments section. I mean, it is kind of like the archetypal hero's journey, isn't it? Not knowing your place in the world and everything, but it just works. Sometimes you just gotta stick to.
Well, I was going to say, Spider-Man has that kind of with great power comes great responsibility and everything like that, which has always been linked to his character and everything like that. So
this just always reminds me of This Is the End. Like, you wouldn't expect something like this to be in like a kids animated film. Oh, what an absolute!
I'm cautiously optimistic for the sequel of this because I don't think they're going to be able to capture the same magic as they did in this one. I think that's impossible.
They're definitely going to get the cameos in. It's going to have...
Yeah.
Sorry, just saw the scene from Community playing on the TV with Donald Glover dressed up as Spider-Man. If anyone else missed that.
Who is actually in the Spider-Verse, technically, as a pre-Prowler.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, the MCU. The weird, we need him in the films, and he just appeared for a scene. I mean, if anyone's not seen, Community is having a kind of reunion. They're doing like a script reading online, and Donald Glover's actually coming back for it, which I think was the biggest shock for everyone.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a movie. I'm telling you now, Netflix owns the rights to Community now. There's going to be a movie. And all of them getting together, and they've all been chatting about it for years. And now that Donald Glover's coming back for the script reading, I'm sure that he will be back in for a film.
I do have mixed feelings on Community because Tate, you turned me on to that show, and
I couldn't finish it. I saw it before it got cancelled, so I saw the first, I want to say 4 seasons, and
that's basically it. I was going to say that's basically where you need to start. A lot of people, I think 4 was where it moved to different writers, didn't it? And then they kind of shit on season 4 in future seasons. I actually didn't think that was. This is the hypocrisy of it. I actually don't think that season 4 of Community was the worst. 5 and 6 was the pits, where they break up the initial community of the characters. And you get new ones in. You just don't. They don't get that. They don't have the same rapport. They don't have the same history. So, but I would like to see a movie.
I get Donald Glover.
The last episode was good, though. I liked the last episode.
it just became not too much of a meme of itself, but the whole 6 seasons in the movie just went a bit too far. I love the fact that they all end up with cameos in the MCU as well.
Yeah.
Like even in Endgame, they finally got is it Yvette Nicole Brown?
Guess we just need Alison
And
Brie
as the
somewhere, don't
security
we?
guard at the start, they had Ken Jeong at the very start of the film.
Yeah, they had obviously Principal in Civil War.
Yeah,
Winter Soldier had Abed.
Yeah.
But even this feels different to Spider-Man. Like, yeah, like we know Peter Parker's the A-grade student, but let's do something a bit different. But like every design in this film is just incredible. Like the shot choices, the color,
like that you wouldn't see that in. Honestly, there wouldn't be like a sped up montage in any other film, but like you see it on YouTube all the time. Like it's.
And that's the thing. It feels very human. It feels very real. As I mentioned, like the animation kind of makes it feel like you're watching real people. But then with it being animation, you do have that freedom to be larger than life, to throw shot choices in there that you wouldn't be able to do with a physical actor.
So knowing what happens and his powers later, does this mean that spider is electrical, or?
I think it's just it's just a
radioactive spider.
Genetically designed super spiders. Is that the term?
Yeah, I will say though, that is a very cool piece of graffiti. Like, it really is. Like,
it's like Banksy, eat your knob off. Like that's how you do it right there.
I love the fact that his I love the fact that his uncle's obviously Prowler and his dad's a cop, and it's like no wonder they don't get along. And it was so obvious, but I know I'm jumping way far ahead, but Mahershala Ali is just. I don't think I've seen him do a bad role before. And I'm loving that he got cast as Blade and that he went to Marvel and said, I'd love to play Blade as well. It wasn't even we're doing a Blade film, he's like, can I be Blade?
It's still weird to me because he played Cottonmouth in Luke Cage.
Yeah,
and he was like that's still technically meant to be part of the MCU, kind of.
He was by far the best character in that.
Oh god, yeah.
Like the episode that he spoiler alert here, the episode where he died, everything after that, the series really went downhill.
I know that it builds up the big moment the spider bites him, Nate flicks it away, irrelevant. Like it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller is interesting because they are two guys that like visionary in the sense that we're going to do our own thing, and it's either it's going to work or it's not. And obviously Solo had that result of it just didn't work at all, they had to go. And then you've got stuff like this. I've never seen Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
No, I still haven't seen that one. I've heard it's good though.
And then you've got obviously Lego Movie, which should never ever ever have worked, and it did.
So I was just reading, apparently 140 animators worked on this film.
Is it loads of directors that shared it as well?
Yeah. Pete Loving Vincent, that had like over 300.
This is where someone would just slowly walk away and no one would ever give him the time of day ever again. But we're in the movies now, ladies and gentlemen, so it's fine. We go along with it. So have any of you guys tried the shoulder touch just yet for this movie?
It's slow-mo.
It's all in the way that you say hey.
Should we all say hey when it comes up and see?
Yeah, why not?
Hey.
Do you think any of this would have been motion captured in any way to get the movement? Because it looks so lifelike. It's.
I don't know. It'd be interesting, actually.
I've got this on Blu-ray, and I've never watched the behind the scenes on it.
No, same here.
It's actually not a bad hairstyle.
What, with the handprint?
It's quite edgy.
Okay, okay, Chris. Okay, Chris. If that's not a bad hairstyle.
You ready, guys?
Next video. Oh,
There he is. There he is again.
Oh my God, yes.
Let him again. He's everywhere.
So, Chris,
Maybe
next
it's
video.
Mysterio.
Wait a sec. Next video, Chris. We want to see a handprint haircut
Right
there. Yeah.
Okay, I'll get on it.
He must have very small hands as well for that.
If we hit 3K subscribers within the month, I will do that hairstyle.
Oh, Chris, it's like nearing the start of the month. That's a bad call.
3K.
Okay, so we heard it here first, folks. You can spread this to your friends and everything like that if you want to, just so we can see Chris get this haircut. 3K subscribers, 3,000 subscribers. So almost doubling what our subscribers is now by the end of the month. And Chris will get the haircut. We'll probably live stream it as well. It'd be hilarious.
This is going to be the unfortunate situation where Indiana Jones 4 watch-along gets over 1 million views and we hit the sub count.
It was easier to animate because they don't have a detailed background. I never really thought of that.
I don't know. Some of the backgrounds look pretty detailed in this thing. There's a lot of stuff going on. I love the physical humor in this as well. It's the bit with the pigeon in a minute when he's like clinging to the gutter.
But it's like a comic. You know how like Batman had the power, and it's.
Because that's how you'd react to that, right?
Oh.
So how far into and the way that they like throw the comic book in there as well. So how far was it into this movie, or have we already passed the point where you were like, "I'm gonna love this movie"? Because for me, it was the Raimi. It was the Raimi references at the beginning.
Mine was like the opening credits, like the Sony logo changing. I was like, "Here we go." And then, yeah, the moment the Raimi thing happened, I was there like, "This is gonna change my life."
Mm-hmm.
But you can tell they're just paying respect to all of it.
Yeah,
and it's not as much as I'd love to make a dig at Homecoming and Amazing Spider-Man, it's not a dig at them. It's more like the essence of Spider-Man is with that first film, and it makes sense for them to make reference to that rather than chuck the other ones in.
Yeah,
at this point in time, because obviously that's going to change.
And when this won, I thought, okay, there's a hope that non-Disney, non-Pixar movies might win. So, especially when we got to this Oscars just gone, and after seeing, was it
I
lost my hand and Klaus especially.
Both those two should have won.
In terms of animation style, I think Klaus is probably the most similar to this in terms of where you just watch it and you're just blown away by the animation that you're watching.
Yeah, well, Klaus felt closer to Disney without actually being Disney. I know
it had a lot of ex-Disney animators on it, didn't it?
But like the biggest thing for me was Toy Story didn't deserve to win.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to win because it was Toy Story. That's the thing. Did Phil Lord and Miller do Jump Street films?
Yeah,
they did. Yeah,
because again, they should never have worked, and they did, and they were outrageously entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And they have maybe the greatest credit scene of all time.
Do we know what they're working on next?
I think the sequel to this.
Because it was just Phil Lord who. Oh no, sorry, he produced it. Chris Miller, Phil Lord produced it.
One of them wrote and produced, and the other one just produced it, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the story and the screenplay was done by Phil Lord. The screenplay was also done by Rodney Rothman, who also was one of the 3 directors on this thing.
Human, set in a future in which robots have eliminated humans. When a 12-year-old robot discovers and befriends a human girl, they set off on a journey towards a mysterious point on a map.
Is that an animated film?
It just says sci-fi, nothing else.
Right.
I love this.
Like seriously, if that was Tobey Maguire's voice, I'd have lost my mind.
Can you imagine that been Willem Dafoe like on a glider? I love that they just visually went with everything so different.
Well, I think isn't that Ultimate Goblin?
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Ultimate Goblin, to be honest. I know they try new stuff, but it's too out there for me.
Let's save the glider for. Well, let's not say Homecoming, but let's save it for the Spider-Man 2 game that's going to come out, or the third one, whatever they want to do.
Oh, I love it.
And this is the thing: when
doing
Sony's got a license, when Sony want to take risks, it can pay off. They just go for that ridiculous "we're in control" angle.
Mm-hmm. So what went different with this movie then? How did this turn out so good where so many other times it just goes bad?
I genuinely think because it was. I think because it was animated, they didn't need to have their paw prints. This doesn't need to make 600 mil to break even for us and be a billion and this, that, the other. I literally think this was a case of animated film. Do whatever you want to do.
Do you think with live action it's more focus groupy in terms of animated films? Do you think you have a little bit more freedom?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm sure they obviously greenlit all the ideas because Lord and Miller did say that, we asked about putting them in the first one, the cameos, and Sony told us it was too soon.
Mm-hmm.
But they were probably so focused on the MCU Spider-Man where they could get away with, and the PS4 game, because obviously Sony console, Sony exclusive game, they're probably so focused on them two, this one slid.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I guess, is a bit of a blessing. I could be wrong. They could have had a crazy, while you're watching over it, but I don't think they did. I think they probably read the script as well and were blown away.
But you watch this movie and little character moments like this and all the other character moments in the film and the Spider-Man video game as well. I've seen some of the cutscenes from that. I know how it ends. And you watch that and you look at the quality that we could be getting and you just think that all you need to do is just take this and make it into a movie. And it seems so simple and they did it once. They did it back in the early to late 2000s, and they just never quite got there again.
It's Avi Arad's ridiculous lust for power, as Ewan McGregor would put it. Like Sam Raimi, do Venom. I really don't want to do Venom. No, just do him. Just put him in. You can't have Lizard. He's a CGI villain. Reboots it. Lizard is the villain.
I don't know if you count this as a sound effect or a bit of music, but that sound that always plays when Prowler's on screen is terrifying.
I think I love the design of Prowler.
Yeah.
For someone that doesn't know a lot about his comics and how different he is in the comics, just again, this comes down to the animation style, like the lanky legs and the stuff like that.
And it's cool that they do throw some villains in this film that we know with a different spin, Green Goblin, Dr. Octopus, things like that. But your main villain in this film is like Kingpin and Prowler, and that's just, especially for an animated film, you think they'd go a lot more mainstream than that.
The Kingpin memes are insane. The first time you see it, I mean, I'd loved Kingpin in Daredevil from how much Daredevil I saw.
It was fantastic. Vincent D'Onofrio just absolutely slayed that role. And when I watched this movie, I was just imagining, especially when he talks about Vanessa and everything, who's in Daredevil as well, and the relationship they have, I was just like, I would have loved to have seen well, maybe not even, it doesn't even have to be MCU Spider-Man, but Spider-Man go up against Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin.
I've been rewatching a lot of the 90s Spider-Man on Disney Plus, the classic, incredible one. And it's not as good as it was when I was a kid, which is kind of sad, but Kingpin in it was just amazing. The white suit and everything.
It'd be very difficult to do this in live action.
It could end up like Phantom Four Stick, as in that whole extra dimension thing. I think you could do the set designs. It's more the glitching would be the issue.
There are moments where the background, I don't know if you guys are seeing this on what you're watching it on, it almost looks like you need to put 3D glasses on for it. It looks a little bit hazy, a little bit blurry.
Double layered it up.
Yeah.
Did they release this in 3D? Because I would have wanted to probably watch this in 3D.
I don't think so, but it would have been...
I mean,
it is
crazy. It probably would have given you a seizure, but...
Yeah, as is happening right now. But... So Brinsley's just dropping by. He says, this is pretty close to being my favorite Spider-Man movie next to Spider-Man 2, of course. Yeah, I think I'm pretty much with you. Objectively, this is probably the best Spider-Man movie, but it's not my favorite. My favorite's always going to be The Holy Trinity, probably followed by this. This is probably better than 3. This is probably better than 3.
I think quality-wise, I think 1 and 2 are still superior. I think it's quality better than 3, but 3 is the emotional attachment.
Mm-hmm.
Spider-Man 4 would have come out in cinemas 9 years ago this week.
Oh.
And then, as you mentioned about Spider-Man 4 and the tragedy of us not getting that, we have Spider-Man dying on screen right now, which is pretty.
The Peter
accurate.
Parker dying too, not animated Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
This is again, it was another dynamic to it that you hadn't seen before. That
it's the bit in a minute where Kingpin shows up and just pounds down on him, and you're expecting Spider-Man to get away. This is Spider-Verse, and it's not how it goes.
I do think respond to laughter.
And the score is what, we're first getting that glimpse of the score right now. The main theme. Who did the score to this, by the way? It sounds really. Daniel Pemberton. No idea. Let me see what he's done. I did the music for Steve Jobs, apparently. The man from
music in Steve Jobs is good.
Ocean's 8. Oh, he did the music for Birds of Prey. Wow, okay. Well, I guess he looked out on this one at least.
Spider-Man probably didn't expect to die either. David Webb did the soundtrack, says Brinsley.
It's about sending a message.
Oh, it's the designer Prowler. It's just incredible.
That sound. Is it like synth? I don't even know what you describe it as.
Sounds like a sort of owl that they've electronicalized.
Yeah.
Hooting. Do you think you would have killed him until he said that?
Damn.
I think Prowler would have been the one.
I love Tombstone. He's so pathetic as a villain, but he's always nice to be in the background.
Seaworld Man says, do I own this on DVD or Blu-ray? I've got it on Blu-ray, Steelbook. It's very rare that I buy a Steelbook, only for a very special film, and I jumped at the chance to get the Steelbook for this one. So Hennick says, massive and fat. I hope you're referring to Kingpin and not myself.
Oh, no, wait. Andy
there is a precursor.
Just wait until Tom Holland becomes big and fat, then it'll be referenced in the threequel when he looks like the alternate universe Peter Parker.
I thought he was talking about Kingpin. I was going to say, so is Kingpin just big and fat, or is it just pure muscle?
Maybe a bit of both. Maybe he got big and just converted it.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Kingpin, though, I really loved what Michael Clarke Duncan did with the role with Daredevil, Ben Affleck movie.
I've still never seen it.
You watched season 1 of Daredevil, didn't you? I think.
Yeah.
Oh, the Matrix shot. Cool.
Yeah. As I say, it might be weird watching it now. I still really like that movie. Daredevil's my favorite Marvel character. Love that sound.
I almost went back into buying pops for this because they even made them look like the animated characters. I just love Prowler. I don't want to really see him again because he was so perfect for this animated version. But I don't think this film works live action.
The thing is, because they've set Prowler up in the first in Homecoming. Do you think we'll get him in the next one? Because how it's shaping up, it looks like they're just going to do what Sony do best, right, and just chuck as many villains in there as possible.
I think they might do Kraven the Hunter, seeing as he's been named.
I think it's going to be the last Tom Holland Spider-Man movie for sure.
I don't think so. Have you guys not seen the news of Sony's officially named their Spider-Man cinematic universe? And it probably has the worst name in the history of cinematic universe.
So this is with Venom, Morbius, and also the MCU stuff, which clearly wasn't part of Marvel's plan, but they've had to go along with it anyway now.
Yeah, I am going to get you the news article because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. Because
they didn't call it the Spider-Verse then.
No, it's. Hold on.
Was it the Spider-Man Interconnected Railway Network also universe?
I'm really scared about putting the search name in because it's going to come up some very dodgy X-rated videos, which is a sign of that.
Oh God, what is it? Was it the web slinging universe?
For me, worse than that. Let me get it on Twitter, guys, because I'm not going to tell you wrong. It's honestly the most ridiculous.
Is it safe for work? That's the question. Well, obviously not, because you said you wouldn't.
Whilst George is searching for it, if anyone doesn't know, put your names down in the comments.
Yeah, we want to hear what you would call the Spider-Man connected universe.
The X-rated Spider-Man connected universe.
Right, I've got it. I'm going to let you all do a comment, and I'm going to read it out loud.
Yeah, everyone get your comments in. Before we get to it, a lot of people are giving much love to the his dad talking through the door scene later on in the movie.
Oh yeah,
we'll get to that.
Hey, look, it's Miguel.
Right, I'm just going to say it because I can't hold it. The Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters, aka Spunk.
Oh no!
SPUSA, the Sony Pictures universe of Marvel characters. It broke last week on the news, May the 1st. Love this cameo. This was a really poignant cameo, and that's completely ruined and changed scene. But there's one of last Stanley's final cameos. It was a really nice one.
It's dedicated to him at the end as well, I think, isn't it? The film.
Yeah, because Steve Ditko passed away as well, which for some reason no one ever talks about. So I'm happy it was referenced both. But yeah, sorry guys.
That's how long do you think it took? How long do you think they agonized in that boardroom meeting to come up with that name?
I probably think they just we definitely need the word Sony Pictures in here. That was their middle finger to Marvel.
So now I guess Tom Holland Spider-Man's awkwardly straddling the line now between two universes.
IGN had it confirmed.
Sorry, did you want to rephrase that to Tom Holland is awkwardly straddling?
Is awkwardly straddling Spunk.
I mean, the thing is, I really want Venom 2 to be good for Andy Serkis's sake, not for anything else about that film. That's that's the horrible thing I have, is that I want it to be so bad, but I don't want that to happen to Andy Serkis. If it's good, fair play, honestly, but I don't think it's going to be.
Here we go, hero moment.
This is the scene again. See, this to me is like subverting your expectations done well. This is what it's all about right here.
I don't think it could work for live action, for that kind of humor.
I don't know. I think it could. I think with the editing on that scene, I think it could.
This is again.
Because I think the only bit that I liked in Venom, or mildly chuckled at, was the harsh edit where he's isn't he going to run down the building or something? Then it harsh cuts and he's in the elevator and Venom just goes pussy or something like that. That made me laugh. But...
Ow, my back.
We're gonna have to do a watch along of the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films at some point.
They're just iconic moments of cinema.
I mean, we'll probably rank our. I think we had a comment earlier from Brinsley. I mentioned that we'll probably rank our Spider-Man movies as we go through.
I can give you mine now.
Christ, I'd have to write them out for a minute. Give me a second.
Wouldn't include Avengers.
No, if we just go by standalone Spider-Man movies.
Films either, just Spider-Man films. Although, would that mean that the Raimi films would fall under that if they did put it?
Are we doing best to worst or worst to best?
Best to worst.
Okay.
Okay, mine is a 2-1 Spider-Verse 3. Far From Home, Homecoming.
You missed 2.
Did I miss 2?
Garfield.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean that just says it all, doesn't it? Oh, actually, okay. 2-1 Spider-Verse 3. Far From Home, Amazing Spider-Man 1, Homecoming, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I'm going to go 1-2, Spider-Verse 3, Gap, Gap, Far From Home, then Amazing Spider-Man, then take an extra gap, and then you can have Homecoming, and then The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
So same as me, but with added gaps.
We just swapped 1 and 2, yeah. Added gaps.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so mine's going to be wildly different from you guys.
Dude, I swear to God, like I'll let anyone have their own opinion on anything they want, but if you put Homecoming as your favorite Spider-Man film, I will slap your face off your face.
You ready for this? Into the Spider-Verse at number 1, okay. Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man, Far From Home, Spider-Man 3, Homecoming, Amazing 1, Amazing 2.
So Homecoming is your third worst Spider-Man film?
Yeah.
4th. Was it 4? Oh.
Third worst. Far From Home is way better than Homecoming.
I really like Mysterio. To me, saves Far From. I mean, Michael Keaton's the best thing about Homecoming, anyway.
Yeah,
I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same criticism for me on both of the MCU Spider-Man films. The villain steals the show,
and the problem is the villain's not angry at Spider-Man; he's angry at Tony Stark.
Yeah,
but Mysterio, like, it really surprised me for Jake Gyllenhaal to drop into a $200 million blockbuster and put a fishbowl on his head. But he
sold out. That man sold out. But he was the best thing in that movie. That whole sequence, everything they did with Mysterio, haven't got a problem with that at all. I thought it was one of the most interesting thing they did in the MCU. Oh, now I should have pizza. I'm watching this.
Pizza now.
Yeah, I feel like I love that this Spider-Man is like a tragic reflection of what, like, actual Peter Parker would have been if things went wrong.
Guess while we continue on, if anyone else wants to rank their favorite Spider-Man movies, best to worst, they can go ahead in the comments and we'll read a few out. Oh, you know that pizza's good as well because it's like proper genuine New Yorker pizza as well.
If the day I go to New York, whatever year it will be, Joe's Pizza from Spider-Man 2 is a real place, and I think were they given like something by they have the motorbike in the shop or something.
I don't know.
There's something there they were given by Sony, and it's like a sort of Spider-Man pilgrimage point.
I was going to say there are 3 pilgrimages I want to make in this life. One, me and you have both done. A Skellig Michael, that's one down. Joe's Pizza will be another, and then for me it'll be New Zealand for Lord of the Rings.
I've got a couple. I'd love to do New Zealand, but I couldn't lie and say that's above other ones. But if I went to New Zealand, it's to probably go to Hobbiton and some other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you can not go there now and not think of Lord of the Rings. I think New Zealand's become it.
The fact that they're going to be filming the Amazon series there too, it's just further cementing that it is now. Especially when you've been over 20 years.
I really want to go to Finse to go to the coordinates for Hoth. Tunisia you can't do because didn't ISIS bomb the Star Wars set? Yeah. Could you imagine if George Lucas owned Disney, he would have declared war himself?
It'd have been like roll the camera. We'll add it all in post right now.
Oh wow, that's frustrating. So when I was in New York in 2015, I didn't go to Joe's Pizza. I went to Ben's, which is the one that's in Men in Black. It was literally on the corner. It was literally on the corner of where we were staying. But both pizza restaurants aren't that far away at all.
I do want to go one day. I don't know when I'd go to New York. Like, I want to get LA done.
I was meant to be going this year until lockdown, but I guess I'll be going next year instead.
Love this scene. See, this is where you just embrace the medium of animation right here. This is like one of the most slapstick, cartoony parts of the film.
That's very Spider-Man 2 vibes there.
Yeah. So we're almost coming up to 40 minutes if anyone else wants a timestamp. Andy says, have you guys seen Drake Bell's superhero movie? Is that the is that the Leslie Nielsen? I remember watching that at the time when they were like a huge craze, because I'm not even going to be ashamed to admit it. I loved those movies when they came out. I had a really dumb sense of humor. And I actually remember superhero movie not being that bad. I mean, it was probably bad, but, in terms of that genre, it probably wasn't bad.
Probably at the right age when all the first ones of them started coming out.
You had like Epic Movie, Date Movie, Meet the Spartans. Disaster Movie is one of the worst films I've ever seen.
Vampires Suck. I actually saw in cinema.
The last one I saw was Meet the Spartans. I think everyone saw that one.
I don't think I've seen Miss Buttons.
Oh, it has its moments. It does.
I wouldn't want to go back to them because I think it'd be a very different experience.
Yeah. The problem is they were just made of products of the time, weren't they? They were just cashing in on the pop culture references of the time, so everything in them is going to be completely dated now. I do think the scary movie films hold up. I do like the scary movie films.
Is that the one with the oh god, the interview? Hold on. There's a video interview like of someone that's meant to be part of the Scream parody.
Mm.
I'm gonna try and think because I don't want to say it wrong. Oh, it's the Run, Bitch, Run.
Oh, yeah, that's scary, yeah.
That's a scary movie, isn't it?
Yeah. So I was thinking about like the other Spider-Man appearances because one of the feelings that this film gave me, which was really nice actually, Spider-Man was always Batman and Spider-Man were sort of like always my favorite heroes growing up. You know, they're both very, very different, but they were both had in terms of their respective comic book studios, you know, and everything like that. They had the best rogues gallery. You had the Spider-Man films at the right age growing up, the amazing video games as well, like Spider-Man 2 on PS2, one of the best games on that console, in my opinion. And then like after the Holy Trilogy, I never really got that sense of awe with Spider-Man when I went to see it. It just didn't feel the same. Didn't feel like it hit the same. But watching this movie, it kind of gave me that feeling again. But I do remember, you know, having like a real amazing rush seeing Spider-Man in the MCU for the first time with Civil War. That airport fight and seeing Spider-Man as part of the action, I was like, his return home. This is awesome, and I'm feeling the feelings again of watching Spider-Man on the big screen.
I was down with him to be in Civil War. I didn't mind him in Civil War.
He was crowbarred in a little bit, wasn't it? It was like we needed an establishing scene for him, but
it's just when you got to Homecoming, it was just.
Everything was wrong about it.
No, Homecoming was a perfectly fine movie. I will argue this to the end of days.
Probably a better Marvel film than a Spider-Man film. Like, I don't mind they are in it.
Any film that's connected into that universe will find it very difficult not to be connected to that universe. You've got to have a way of introducing him. The way they fought in was having Tony as the father figure.
It doesn't feel like a standalone Spider-Man film, though. It just... all the core elements that you expect, and I guess this is how I felt with Man of Steel. I know that Man of Steel is, you know, like a very divisive film. You know, you've got a lot of people that love it, a lot of people that hate it. But every change they made in that, I felt detracted from the character of Superman and made him not fit. And that's the kind of thing that I had with Homecoming. You know, you have Flash Thompson, who acts nothing like Flash Thompson. You have
the lobby boy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh boy. You have Betty Brant or whatever her name is, and she's not Betty Brant. We're too cowardly to put JJ in that movie. He's not a photographer at the. You know, it's just all these things. We don't even reference Uncle Ben all that much, and you shift the focus to Tony Stark.
Initials were on a suitcase in Far From Home, though. You know, that's mate. Like, don't get me wrong, you don't have to sit here and do, you know, good power comes good responsibility. You definitely don't need to do that. You don't need to do the awful, amazing Spider-Man extended speech to say the same thing.
You also don't need to have the same story repeated like 3 times over and over, which is why this film feels fresh. It's different.
The issue with Homecoming is you can take all the names. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, what did Dark Knight do with Rachel? Right? She wasn't Vicky Vale. She wasn't a pre-existing Batman character. He just created someone new because it didn't fit into what had been done in the past, so we'll make it new. And it's like, like I said, Zendaya, I don't mind her in Spider-Man, but was there any need to put the MJ? Kind of like Robin in the. I know Dark Knight Rises is it's like a more of a nod than a this is it, but that was like the final scene of a trilogy, whereas this was introducing them all on 7-picture contracts. We'll call her MJ, but why?
But you just watch it, and she's nothing remotely like Mary Jane. She's not Mary Jane. And this is what I mean. It's like, yes, you don't have to tell the same story like Tate was saying, but you have to honor what the character is and the characters around him so that it feels part of the same thing. Otherwise,
it puts unnecessary pressure on them as well.
Like, but yeah, just make her a new character. I know that as a Spider-Man fan, you want her to be Gwen Stacy, you want her to be Mary Jane, because that's the comic books, But
and the other thing is, like, I don't know how I massively, like, within the first film, like, everyone knew who Spider-Man is, and I didn't mind his friend, the annoying one. Like, I didn't mind him. Like, he serves a purpose. They don't turn around and say, you're this character that's going to have... If they turn around and say, oh, he's actually Harry Osborn, oh, God, people are going to kick off. But he was a new character. And I think that's where my issue is. They tried to... It just felt like Sony. Like, Sony's... I feel that there was a good idea there, and then Sony, like, sort of dug their claws in with it.
Can you both at least agree that massive improvements were made for Far From Home?
Oh, no, I've said that. Far From Home, there are improvements. But again, why is Spider-Man going to go abroad again? Like, at least they found an excuse this time. Like Nicolas Cage, like, you can be Spider-Monkey or whatever name they gave him, just so we can make sure that it's not. And also, I give Far From Home mad respect because they put Ben Mendelsohn in it, which automatically gives a film like an extra level of gravitas.
In a post-credit scene,
it's good enough for me. Any Ben Mendelsohn is good. There's a video of him going viral eating an orange, like, under quarantine. I don't know why, but it was just like...
Why not? Why not?
I mean, speaking of people coming back to franchises, Tamara Morrison's back. Why not bring Ben Mendelsohn back into everything? He was the best thing in Captain Marvel. I don't mind...
It took me this long to realize that she's wearing octagonal glasses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I like the fact also that she's like, people would normally mean, oh, how can Dodge Rochester be a woman? It doesn't matter because it's the same character.
Yeah.
And it worked for a big If
you can see the arm there. You can see the arm on the desk there. I never noticed that already setting up.
If that had been like a male scientist, it would have been so easy for like everything. Whereas actually here it was like so well hidden, and it's a really nice surprise.
I love the bagel subplot in a minute. That it gets a payoff. I love it. Are the tables octagonal as well?
Yeah, they are.
It's so dense.
I really wish that they put some of these costumes in the PS4 game. I'd have loved to have played as Spider-Man in some like jogging pants.
They did put, I think, one of the costumes in, but
hey, we got the Raimi one, right? That's all we wanted. We fought hard for it, and we finally got it.
Maybe one of the most petulant things ever, but it was a victory nonetheless.
Yeah.
Oh, smell food.
I think the voice acting is really good in this film as well, guys. I know we've sort of like mentioned George, you mentioned like Mahershala Ali, but just everyone just feels. I don't feel, when you have like celebrity voices for characters in animated things, and it just you don't see the character, you see the celebrity voice. I'm watching characters right now. I'm watching Miles Morales. I'm watching Peter Parker, Dr. Octopus.
It's like Lego Movie, like it's Chris Pratt. It's not Emmett. It's Chris Pratt. You can't unhear Chris Pratt's voice, and it's Chris Pratt being Chris Pratt.
Mm-hmm.
And they even make a joke of it so much that he has a clone that is Chris Pratt's action characters in the second one. But like this film, some animated films, you don't need big names, but I don't know why some companies feel the need to make sure they get them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's the biggest name in this? Probably Mahershala Ali, and he's not a massive household name. Like, yes, he's won 2 Oscars, but 90% of people probably haven't heard of him.
Mm.
I, 'cause, like, I, don't know, I, don't know, I don't know why some companies feel the need to make sure they get them. Like, who's the biggest name in this? Probably Mahershala Ali, and he's not a massive household name. Like, yes, he's won 2 Oscars, but 90% of people probably haven't heard of him.
That was it. Boom.
It's like they're breathing.
We'll say that we'll never get anyone better than Alfred Molina, will we?
No, someone had done some fan casting, and it would have been great. But Alfred Molina was just everything about it's right. The same with Willem Dafoe. You're not going to ever get a better Goblin. There's no fault with any villains that aren't Venom in the movie films. And he was made to make.
Yeah, I was going to say he didn't even want to put Venom in there, did he?
He wanted Kurt Connors, who had been set up in previous films.
Well, that's the thing I wanted to mention earlier when we talked about Prowler, in that I know we never sadly got any payoff to Kurt Connors, but let's say, for example, if they had have put him in Spider-Man 4 or 5, imagine the setup you would have had there and the relationship that was already established there between him. They've set Prowler up, pre-Prowler. He's in the universe, but if we get him in the next movie, because you haven't had any setup in the second film or any continuation of that, it's not going to have any kind of impact. You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
you're just not going to care. It's like with the Tim Burton Batman films, you had Billy D. Williams as Harvey Dent in the first movie, wasn't used at all in the second movie. And by that point, when you get to Forever, enough time's gone past where people have forgotten that Billy D played him, and they recast him with a very white Tommy Lee Jones.
And he was basically the Joker.
Yeah.
And hated Jim Carrey. If anyone's ever seen the famous interviews where he said something like, Jim Carrey came over to me at dinner and I told him I just did not like him. I don't want to bother with him.
It's what you say. I had enough of his buffoonery, and yet he's probably more animated than Jim Carrey in that film as Two-Face.
Oh, just Jim Carrey in his prime in the 90s. Just nothing close.
He crushed it. He had like 3 of his biggest hits in 1 year, didn't he? Was it Ace Ventura, Ace Ventura,
Dumb and Dumber,
and The Mask.
Oh, Mask, yeah. He was just a streak. I mean, I've never seen the Andy Kaufman film that he did.
No, I don't think I've seen that.
That's the one.
Hang on. Was that the Eternal Sunshine one?
No. Yeah. Sorry. He did that biopic in there.
That was Charlie Kaufman. Who did it with.
Oh,
my bad.
The Moon, Man in the Moon, is it called?
Yeah, and he's
I haven't seen that one.
messed him up. And like, did anyone see the Netflix documentary on him?
No.
No, I know you mentioned that though.
He literally says they got archive footage of him walking around the street, like Universal sets, and like they kind of ask him to leave because he's that mental about it all.
Mm-hmm.
I love that this bit's a bit like a video game. It's like double tap to release. It's just like
I did watch the video on this, like a video analysis on the animation. It's like they're both at slightly different frame rates to show that difference between them.
Andy put, what about Nicolas Cage in the sense of big names in this film? Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Incredible performance.
I had Big Daddy vibes with him in this movie. It's just so good.
And now he's Joe Exotic.
Give that man the Oscar. Oh, it's a series, isn't it? He won't get it. Damn it. I thought it was a movie. Should be a movie.
Give that man the Emmy.
Thoughts on Spider-Gwen? Because I think she's relatively new even for the comics.
She's quite cool. I like her character. Yeah. It did mention that they've got the sequel coming out in 2022 and a proposed spin-off, so I'm assuming that the spin-off would probably be Spider-Gwen. I would be very surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah, because I think Sony were doing their usual, here's a spin-off, here's a TV series spin-off, and they would...
She does look very much like Emma Stone in this, doesn't she? In the face a little bit.
Yeah, she does.
I wonder if that was intentional.
Is it Hazy Cypher the voices are from Bumblebee, isn't it? Oh, speaking of Bumblebee, there's a new Transformers film that's been announced. A live-action one.
I can't.
And they are yet to confirm if it will be Bayhem Universe or Bumblebee.
It won't be. It'll be Bumblebee. Bumblebee was like the soft reboot, wasn't it? Let's be fair. But we better get a payoff to that. I will say that both Transformers The Last Night and Bumblebee, their final scenes of the movie or post-credit scenes, whatever you want to call them, have, for both their respective franchises individually, have put it in a very interesting place.
I still haven't seen Bumblebee, so
I think you'd like it. I genuinely think you'd like it.
I like Travis Knight, so yeah.
It was just not simple, but it was this like, let's take it back to basics and build it from there. The kind of boy with car storyline.
But it was girl with car, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Like it was just like soft reboot, and then bring in John Cena,
who wasn't actually in the movie as much as I thought he would be. But they nailed the look of the robots in it, like completely straight out of the animated series. But the frustrating thing is for me as a Transformers fan is that of like the cartoon Transformers, is that the opening 2 minutes of the film is perfection. I was almost welling up at seeing what I wanted to see all these years on screen, completely nailed. And then we go to Earth, and then it's the same kind of story that we've already seen before, which was quite frustrating.
Oh, this is all with the clicking of the pen.
So I'll say this with this film. What do we think to the villain dynamic with Kingpin? Do we think he's a strong antagonist for this film? Do you think he's perfectly serviceable? Do you think he could have been stronger?
I think
he's strong.
Because you set him up as the villain from the beginning. He kills the Spider-Man, and then you get his backstory into why does he want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like many villains, it's a case of they've got the right idea but the wrong approach.
Yeah. That guy's got severe upper backgrounding, hasn't he? Jesus Christ. Wonder how much Kingpin can bench. Who's that guy with the guns? Is he like, he's got to be a Spider-Man character, right?
Yeah, it's meant to be Tombstone.
Oh, right, okay.
They kind of did like a miniature Sinister Six in this film.
The revelation of the Sinister Six in that Spider-Man PS4 game was just incredible. Like playing that, binging, like you kind of assume to a point it could happen. If not, it happened right at the end. But to get it like 2/3 of the way in, I was like, whoa. You need
the classic lineup there, don't you, for Sinister Six? I know the Sinister Six has rotated a bunch of times, so fair enough.
Rotated so
who was
heavily.
That new guy in there? What was his name? Like the guy.
Oh, is it Mr. Kim or something, like Negative Man?
That's it. Yeah, he's got to be a new villain. They were trying to like push in that game.
Like it was like the Dark Saber out of like Mandalorian and Rebels. It was like, when like the black's so black, it's obviously like the negative stuff, and they obviously like hyped the game around him because I didn't know that Otto Octavius was even going to be in it, and he's in the opening scene like, oh, you're his number 2, and you think, sequel, he'll be the villain, and the whole game is his descent into it.
So I was like, this bit was weird for me in the film, in that. I mean, I'm sure this is in the comic books, as I said. Like, I'm speaking as, I don't follow the comic books or anything like that. Having Aunt May be a kind of Alfred kind of vibe and the spider cave and everything like that. I'm sure it's in the comic books. It's just, this was my first time fully witnessing that. And it was weird to me. It was weird because Batmanifying Spider-Man is weird to me.
Yeah, it was. And it's like this got not running joke about May, but like they get younger each iteration. But this one was the kind of like older, but not Rosemary Harris old, but she's still going to like help out with it.
Well, I mean, Sony wanted to peddle their what was it? The Aunt May spin-off they wanted to do with Aunt May as a secret agent. Remember when that was a whole thing?
Oh god.
This is Aunt May as a secret agent right now.
They already
It's that walk, right? That
Felicity Jones was cast as, was it a Black Cat for her own stuff? That's why she had like one scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was going to be like its own cinematic universe.
They tried to set up so much in Amazing Spider-Man 2, didn't they? So much. As well as multiple villains, you had the Sinister Six set up, Aunt May, Black Cat.
Oscorp was going to be like S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
There was a frozen head in a box.
I remember as a kid. Oh, I'm sure that's like a reference to like all this. Look at that, all the suits.
Yeah.
There's the PS4 game costume, which Spider-Man's in front of.
Yeah.
But I remember as a kid having a toy. It was like this. There's only one way to say it. It was like the Spider-Mobile, it was like a car that Spider-Man drove around, and I was like, at what point would he need a car? Why does he need a car?
To go to the
He's
shop.
also lucky he's in like New York where there's skyscrapers. Like if you had, imagine if it was real, but he was in like the countryside, it'd be the most like irrelevant superhero of all time.
I've got the Raimi suit in there anywhere. I mean, that's closest to it, isn't it? Let's be honest, the OG right there.
I've seen this a lot. The fact that he doesn't match up to the suit in that first kind of thing, and then later on in the film, he does. It's just, this film is masterfully done, I will say. Like, as far as direction is concerned, it's brilliant.
Like, even the cinematography. I always think it's like weird to say cinematography with an animated film, but I mean, of course it is. You know, the framing and everything in it.
I'm gonna grab one thing, but I know we're about to meet Nicolas Cage.
So many animation styles, I love it.
And they all work.
Yeah.
Has anyone seen the short film set just before this?
No.
Oh, it's so strange. It's Spider. What's he called? Spider Pig or some? What's his actual name?
A Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham.
Didn't they almost get sued or something by? Was it Warner Brothers for the Looney Tunes thing where he says that's all, folks?
Probably.
It must have been some kind of deal they struck though back in the day. Had to have been.
Would they have different Spider-Men if they did a sequel? Like, if they did a Spider-Verse sequel?
Well, you have Oscar Isaac for a start.
I think we'll get him come in. I think we'll get cameos from Maguire, Holland, and Garfield.
Who do you think the villain is going to be?
Oh, that's a very good question.
They haven't done.
They wouldn't make a new villain, would they?
I think they'll try and avoid someone that's been the main villain in a recent film. I can see him chucking some in the smaller roles.
You won't have anyone who's been a big villain in the recent few films, so that rules out, I think, Vulture,
Mysterio,
everything like that.
I'm sure Kingpin would probably come back into it.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a good Rhino in any of the films so far.
I could see Rhino being some kind of muscle character like Scorpion is in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Electro. Oh, is it too soon to do Electro again, maybe?
Well, we're picking films from Amazing Spider-Man 2 now, like villains.
That's far enough back. Don't pretend that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I didn't mind Jamie Foxx. You know, I know he was basically the Riddler, as in the origin set from Batman Forever, but they obviously jumped in off the back of Django. Like, Jamie Foxx is popular. Let's get him in quickly.
Maybe you will get a multiverse version of a villain that has a twist on it, a classic villain that has one of the kind of Spider-Verse twists on it. What do you reckon?
I'm
going through like the entire Rogues Gallery.
Yeah, I had a book as a kid which had like every Spider-Man villain ever, and I'm just thinking of them in my head. There was one which I think would be too risky, especially for an animated film, but the Chameleon, however you want to pronounce it.
Oh, Chameleon, yeah.
If they ever want to pull the trigger, I think he'd be really good in live action. Difficult to do, but if they did it right, that'd be really good.
They could probably. I know that. I feel like Mysterio, if it was animated by these guys, would be.
Well, Mysterio, but you've just had him in the live action. You know, I don't think you'll get Venom. They won't do Venom. I think it's too weird to do Venom. But I'm trying to remember where this movie kind of rounds off. You have Spider-Gwen, who looks like she can sort of morph in between dimensions to still speak with Miles. You have whether it was just like a funny little sight gag at the end. You do have Oscar Isaac's character at the end.
They could do Mr. Negative from the Spider-Man games and have it where he gets transported to the negative world, and that would be fucking incredible animated.
The rumor is that Mysterio is going to pop up in the Spider-Man game as a supporting villain.
Who's going to be the new villain for the Spider-Man game?
It'll be Green Goblin, won't it? Green Goblin will be the main villain, I think.
Venom with the setup to Goblin is the rumor, because I know the end of the credit scene had like Harry Osborn of the Black Goo.
God, what is it with Tony's massive hard-on for Venom? I don't understand it.
I'm going to quickly grab something to show because I forgot I've got this actually. Give me 1 second.
Cool. While George is gone, well, just anyone, let us know who your favorite Spider-Man is in this movie, because there's a lot of love for Spider-Ham and Spider-Noir, who I think are probably two of the best. I do like regular Peter Parker, actually. The schlubby one.
Honestly, for me, it's Spider-Gwen, and I genuinely wouldn't mind a Spider-Gwen film.
I think Spider-Noir is probably my favorite objectively because it's the funniest, but I do like schlubby Peter Parker. Oh, we have the terrifying scene now. Is this the scene with in the house? This was like a horror movie.
It's the noise.
Like actual fear at a villain, you know? I remember that. I love how we're all being quiet as well.
Imagine if we just started singing Post Malone now to go invisible.
Oh man, Jesus, that sound.
Just his eyes, just like
Sounds a bit like an elephant, doesn't it? Like an elephant kind of trumpeting, I guess. But like, oh, look at that, Jesus.
He's now like, fuck.
Deception, disgrace.
Just the music during the scene as well. Just like it adds gravity to the situation because now suddenly he's like, oh god, like the one person he thinks he can talk to about this entire situation is probably his biggest villain right now.
You don't ever see him, it's the light on him.
Mm-hmm. The best villains as well are always the ones that have like a good
closest connection.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
that's why Killmonger was worked so well in Black Panther.
You know, like Willem Dafoe in the first Spider-Man film, you had that kind of surrogate father connection, the son that, you know, he never had kind of thing, the failure of Harry compared to Peter. Yeah, the kind of student mentor with Dr. Octopus in the second movie.
Oh, see, and that's why this film works as well, because you wouldn't be able to do something like that.
Oh no, there's stuff like that in the Raimi films. You know, when he jumps off the with the crane in Spider-Man 3, and he like, it's one of my favorite bits where he flips over that rubble and like kicks off it.
So I want to show you guys this. I don't know if I've showed this before. I was very lucky, I met Phil Lord once, and I fucking told him straight away Spider-Verse is one of my favorite films I've seen. So when he signed an autograph, he drew a photo of Spider-Man. If you can see that.
Oh, that's yeah.
And he wasn't signing for many people, like, because all the autograph leaders were there, but it was so hard not to bring up. I had a Solo poster on me because there was other people there from Solo, but did not obviously show that. But it's just, again, like, this isn't a film Sony came up with the idea for. This is the individuals that clearly went to Sony with an idea, like, we want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can tell that they care for the characters.
I sense it too. Are they friends then? Does that imply they're friends from earlier where she says
It
my friends
implies they know each other.
Oh, I keep forgetting as well. Scorpion's technically in the MCU as well, isn't he? He's the guy from Breaking Bad in prison. I really hope that spin-off Spider Noir. I'd love to see that. You could do some really cool things with that.
Like, I mean, take you into anime. Is this like taking the piss out of anime at the same time as respecting it?
Yeah, I guess.
Like,
I wouldn't even say it's taking the piss out of anime because it's basically exactly what goes down in it. But
yeah, that's how bad Tombstone is as a villain. He gets beaten up by Aunt May.
When was the last time? Oh God, sorry.
I think Tombstone is kind of like not a relevant villain, but he just doesn't work for like real media, if that makes sense. Like just a henchman.
Yeah. When was the last time we all watched this?
I watched it this winter season, so it would have been January, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
At some point last year, I can't remember when. I reckon it was about July, August time.
See, I didn't see this film in cinema, so how would the experience differ from how you guys experienced this film to how I experienced
it? It was amazing. I think I went on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. It was the same like week as Bumblebee, and I was expecting it to be empty, but there were loads of people like our age there as well.
That was a really packed December, I remember, wasn't it? Was it Aquaman, this, Bumblebee? I want to say there was something else as well that came out that month.
Yeah, there was. I'm trying to think.
There wasn't a Star Wars movie. That was the year without one, wasn't it? But I know something big must have took its place. Oh, this scene, man. Jesus.
Yeah.
He could have just like flew off with him, right? Or just like slammed him into like the roof and like carried on fighting him somewhere else and then just left.
Do you think he knew he was probably going to get shot? Because that moment in the cinema was just like, whoa.
Yeah, here's the thing, like, because I didn't know Miles Morales and things like that, and I mean, I probably should have saw it coming, but the whole uncle thing, I thought that was exclusively like a Peter Parker thing, so I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah,
you know, the moment in the minute when we get to the alleyway, it's one of my favorite scenes in the film, and it was that moment where I was watching it, and that's when it kind of changed to a live action movie for me because it felt so human and so real. This scene right here, the whole facade of the kind of like the animation just faded away. I was watching two actors.
I've got the Spider-Man 1 vibe of when he puts Harry down. No, sorry, when he puts Norman down for Harry to see.
Yeah.
Did the uncle know he was Prowler? Sorry, his dad know he was Prowler?
No, I don't think so.
I think
he does at the end. He does in a minute, doesn't he? I think he
knew he was into crime, and I think he knew that like he'd probably been to jail a couple of times, and maybe it was revealed why. Maybe he'd caught him previously, and that's why they didn't get on, but he let him go.
See, it's like these are moments that I just don't feel are in like I don't want to like harp on the MCU Spider-Man films too much, but you just don't get scenes like this where the film just stops and you have that moment. There was one moment at the end of Homecoming where I thought that was as close as you're going to get.
Is that the rubble?
Yeah, he's trapped under the rubble and he kind of sucks himself up and says, I'm Spider-Man. He has to believe himself. That's good. More of that would have been good. I guess that's just a Marvel thing. They don't tend to have many human moments, you know? Like, that's why I think that the Russo brothers are the ones that get closer to it with their movies. Yeah, I think he sees him now, doesn't he?
You know, the way he looks at him, I think he already knew. Because he's not looking at the costume.
Mm.
I think he knew.
December, Aquaman, Spider-Verse, Mortal Engines, Mary Poppins Returns, Aquaman, Bumblebee in the space of like 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was Mary Poppins Returns. That was the other one. No one cared about Mortal Engines, did they? I think it was a massive flop.
Oh, humongous flop. Like, unbelievably phenomenal flop.
Did I see it? Hold on.
I was intrigued because they were just pouring Peter Jackson's name all over the trailers and everything.
But then, no, it went from the first trailer where it was Peter Jackson's name put up in bold, and then it was the final trailer that they put out where his name was literally cast off to the side at the very end.
Oh, really?
Like, he didn't want to be involved in the project at all.
The one I saw was that other one that was kind of the same, that weird Alita.
Oh,
I've heard very good things about that, actually. It's one of those where people are super into it, love it a lot.
There's
people find it meh. Nobody hates it, if that makes sense.
The people that watched it it has a cult following.
Yeah.
The people that watched it that enjoyed it have not let people forgotten they watched it and they enjoyed it.
Correct.
But it didn't. I don't think the. I don't think the general audience like. I didn't like it. I felt like getting into an anime discussion. You know how like we kind of say that, not for all anime, but certainly some things when there's like the 12-year-olds with massive boobs and stuff, and there's like the certain freaks that watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that would have been a great prank to actually put on someone. Just something on the ceiling, just like.
Alita covers a lot of that kind of nonsense, like saying it politely.
Yeah.
I've got no issue people watch anime, but that specific anime with an anime, when you really need to question things.
I've heard it's a pretty faithful adaptation of the anime itself, if you are a fan, but I think they mentioned that it feels like they have taken like series upon series of this thing and crushed it all into like a 2.5 hour movie, so it feels a bit rushed.
Mahershala Ali was the main villain in that film.
That too.
He had a huge month.
Yeah, he
was that the year Moonlight came out as well?
Sequel baited with Edward Norton as well.
And we're never getting that sequel.
Never happened. Was that the year that Moonlight came out as well, or was that Shape of Water year?
So it was like that came out just after this. I think it was like early 2019. Alita was, because I watched it last year.
No, Moonlight was not early 2019 release.
I don't know,
but 2018.
Alita was 2019. Moonlight was same as La La Land. So what? 2017.
2017.
Oh, I think we've got everyone's favorite scene coming up in a minute, haven't we? I think people were talking about earlier.
Like this scene, I don't want to sound really kind of as a downer, but this scene would have been way more tragic if his dad died at the end of the film.
Oh no! God damn, he's gone through some loss. Jesus Christ, dude.
I think it would have been too easy to kill his dad, because in the comics, is his dad the one that always dies. So the role reversal of making it the uncle.
Because his dad still doesn't know at the end, does he, that his son's spider? No. He has a suspicion, I think, at the end where he hears his voice, but he doesn't actually know. But I think that leaves it in a good stead for the next one. He's probably not going to want to put his father in harm's way and things like that. Oh, this scene, Jesus.
Sorry, guys, I'm just going to tune out for a second in this.
Yeah, we all are. Yeah.
Just that framing.
Yeah, I was just say, look at that.
Oh, it's really weird. When I watched this the first time, my immediate first thought was, I need to watch this again immediately. I don't get that with many films I watch, and I didn't watch it again immediately. I settled it, and then I watched it this winter season again for the second time. And my immediate first thought was, I'm going to watch this again by the end of the season. Like it was immediately like, this film is that good that it deserves that quick of a second viewing in that short kind of time span.
I'm really nervous for the sequel because of how good this. I really want it to be great. Don't get me wrong, but my initial worry is that Sony might dig their claws in because it's not the filmmakers. It's never the filmmakers of Spider-Man. It's Sony.
Well, it's based on the success of this one as well. The fact that it won an Oscar, they'll be like, "Oh, maybe we can step in and put a few notes across."
Just this scene here. It's this scene here. It's the scene from the trailer.
Was
I
this
get goosebumps in the scene.
Film to win an Oscar? Oh no, Spider-Man 2 won visual effects, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sounds very Dark Knight soundtracky.
Yeah,
but it's great.
That's why I wanted to double check to make sure it wasn't Hans Zimmer. I didn't think it was. You know, his second soiree into Spider-Man.
Could you imagine if we got J. Jonah Jameson in the sequel?
They would, wouldn't they? They'd get it.
I'm getting goosebumps like already. It's just
I love the color scheme and everything.
It's the shot choice, so simple.
Yeah. It's this one where he's upside down. Oh, that is just such a cool shot.
But it's just people haven't thought to do that before. Like, could you do that in live action? But it's just such a different take.
I love how they kick the main theme into it here.
Yeah,
such a good remix. I have to listen to this soundtrack more, I think. You know what? I know that what you're saying, like, you know, Far From Home tried to do something different. Don't take Spider-Man out of New York. Just don't do it. It felt very Disney sequel-y, you know, like I think a lot of people call it like Cody Banks 2 or whatever. It's almost like Spider-Man takes London or something. It's just or Europe. It travels to Europe or something.
You get the 1 minute at the end of him going around like the skyscrapers at last, but it shouldn't be a level that you have to unlock. It should be, you know.
Yes. I'm looking forward to the sequel more so. I think it's going to be like I hope it isn't, because I know that a lot of people don't like Lego Movie 2. I thought Lego Movie 2 was fine. I thought it was a perfectly serviceable sequel. It definitely had its moments, and I'd still very much enjoyed it.
If I remember, you put it in your bottom 5 of the year.
No, that's probably me.
Oh, it was possibly you. One of you two put it in there.
I think it was George. It was nowhere near as good as the first one, and it was never going to be. And that's kind of what I'm worried about this one, is that when Lego Movie came out, I'd never seen an animated film like it, how it kind of looked stop motion. It kind of looked like real figures, but it was CGI. It was incredible. The cast of characters, the humor, the pace of it. And that's kind of exactly what I had with this movie. And it's when it got to about this part of the film, and you have all these different colorful characters in your ensemble of characters. You're not going to be able to recapture the magic with this animation because we've already seen it in this one. I think with Spider-Man, probably more than Lego Movie, though, you can go places with a sequel. You can do things with these characters probably more so than you can with Lego.
Yeah. Lego was like, this is a crazy idea. It's probably not going to work. And it did, which was great. And then it was like, what do we do next? I mean, Warner Brothers have got rid of the rights. They've sold them to Universal now. That Warner Brothers can't even be asked.
Mm-hmm. I love this scene here.
Isn't she aware that Kingpin is a baddie?
I don't think so. No,
That's the
because he
beauty.
does a lot for the city, doesn't he? I think.
Yeah. Like Jimmy
His
Savile.
name's fucking Kingpin. It's like
No, but they don't know him as Kingpin, though, do they? They always call him
Wilson Fisk.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's why I love the Spider-Man game. Like level 1 was Kingpin because it was like Kingpin's fallen, now the city's under chaos.
Mm.
this is where the animation gets dialed up to 11.
Mm-hmm. What's the budget on this thing? I'm just going to double check. 90 mil budget, and it made just shy of 400 mil.
I think the sequel
High
will,
budget for an animated film. I don't really know animated films well enough to know.
I think I think the sequel will break $1 billion.
No.
Honestly. The
Let's see what the
reception this
budget
film
for.
got, I reckon so.
I can't see a bill as much as I'd love it, unless they heavily went with we've got all these cameos.
Well, I'll say the budget for Frozen 2 was 150 mil, and it makes 1.4 bill. Oh, there's no justice in the world, is there? You know what? Frozen 2, it had its moments, but I mean, this and that, this is clearly a better movie. Clearly a better movie. It's just mass market appeal, isn't it, really? That's all it comes down to. I still think the sequel will be a sleeper hit with this. I still think it'll...
Yeah.
I think you could get 800. $1 billion, I think, is going to be... The thing is, like, animated films are still tough sells to, like, a lot of people that would go and watch.
I think this attracts in both, like I said at the very start, the young market as well as, like, an older generation market.
I think they literally have to be, like, we've got Tobey Maguire... We've got Tom Holland.
The second they say we got Tom Holland, they are gonna...
Yeah, they'll put him in the trailers.
Yeah.
And I can picture him now, be like, hey guys. No, piss off, Tom. And then, like, it'll be like, if Tobey Maguire is going to be in it, I don't want him in any trailers.
This reminds me of that movie.
Like, the moment, like, Tobey Maguire, like, says a word, I'll probably cry at the cinema. Like when I watched Force Awakens, like I was, you know, when you're like overcome with emotion, it was the crawl that got me because I was like, well, the Star Wars film, like I do not expect the day to come. It will be a Tobey Maguire moment where, like, if they kick in the theme, you know.
Tell you what, every time I see that Columbia Films logo,
yeah, the Danny Elfman score.
God damn, this film's so colourful. Love it.
So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine watching this film and being colorblind. It would be horrific.
What, like Spider Noir? Everything's in black and white.
This bit must... No, he's in black and white. I don't think he sees everything in black and white because he can see the Rubik's Cube.
He can't do the Rubik's Cube, can he? Or is he... Or can he? I think he just sees it in black and white, doesn't he? I'm not sure.
No, he says no because he keeps it at the end of the film. He likes it. So I'm guessing he can see the color and he wants a bit of color back in his own world.
I love all their different fighting styles as well. Dude just took an anvil to the head.
Is that Buster from Arrested Development? It
Ooh.
sounded like him then, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm gonna double check.
It's probably not.
No, I want to say it's John Mulaney.
Spider-Ham. Yeah, John Mulaney.
Yeah.
Andy, his entire world is black and white, so he doesn't know the names for all the colors he sees for the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's quite incredible. Do we think they're bringing back, or do you reckon they'll bring a new Spider-Man for cameos?
I think they've got to bring them back, haven't they?
I think they'll have different. I think they'll have different ones. So the 3 separate ones, I reckon, will be different. Like the 3 ones that come in later. So Spider-Ham and Noir and the anime one, I think will be different. But I think the core 3 will stay the same. But I think Peter B. Parker will die.
I think these 3 right here. These 3 right here.
Yeah, those 3 right there. Peter B. Parker will die.
Do you think? Oh, that'd be a bit tough. I definitely think I keep saying we're going to get the film, guys. It's.
Would they kill Spider-Gwen? Would they do that?
No.
They want spin-offs, they won't. Do you think it'd be like the first Avengers film, like like the first time anyone had ever done a team up, and they did them scenes where they went to all their places and stuff? Do you think we'd get that for like Tobey Maguire world? Like they could even get Kirsten Dunst in for a line or 2.
Oh, don't.
Like Andrew Garfield, they can't get him a stone because they killed her and put it in every single trailer, and then the film came out.
I do think the nostalgia's there, though, now. I think there is kind of a vocal minority now for the Sam Raimi trilogy. I mean, obviously, you had the references at the beginning of this film. Even in the video game, there's a lot of moments that, there's the whole stopping the subway, and then it snaps and he goes, funny, that worked last time. And we get the Raimi suit, obviously. I think...
They've been trying to avoid the comparisons in each iteration since, because they know they can't really...
Yeah.
They've avoided the suit.
They did it wrong. They did Raimi wrong.
They know it as well.
If Doctor Strange... Okay, I'm hoping beyond all hope here. It's a false hope. It totally is. If Doctor Strange 2 is a massive hit, and Sam Raimi proves himself, will Sony at all reconsider?
I think it might be too... I don't want to say it's too late, but...
It's never too late. Tate, it's never too late. He can do it.
But for Tobey Maguire?
I need Old Man Maguire.
That's like an R-rated Tobey Maguire. Like, move!
I wonder if he'll use that in the sequel. That's the question. The giant hammer.
Oh, that would be so neat if they did that, though. Really nice callback.
And that would be his callback and reference. Do the hand touch. Do the hand touch.
Is that what Kevin Spacey says to all the children's?
In comes like a grasshopper.
Let's ride.
Justice for Bug's Life.
The thing is, if they do decide to do another one, you haven't got to bring Hopper back, have you? So,
like the really sad thing on Disney Plus, you get to pick your avatars.
Mm-hmm.
You get the Pixar section, and the last one is the Bug's Life. And like the disrespect, like it's the last one.
It's one you could easily do a sequel to as well. It's just break this down. We've had a complete Cars trilogy before we've had a Bug's Life 2. That's just
4 Toy Stories.
A prequel to Monsters, Inc., a sequel to Finding Nemo, and a sequel to Incredibles, which granted we needed, but it wasn't.
That moment there.
You got to go home, man.
Ooh. Sorry, the chance Michael Keaton's going to be doing a private signing.
Ooh. He is the Batman.
Oh, how bizarre this is. I know we're off topic. He will be signing Batman and Beetlejuice because they put brackets on the street. He does not do that. Unfortunately, he will not be signing the following: McDonald's, Birdman, or Spider-Man. No personalization, no quotes, no character names.
Well, he sounds a bit of a dick, really, doesn't he?
They're saying, quote, his people have made the call.
I'm going to pick the most obscure Michael Keaton film now.
So strange, no Spider-Man. Or Birdman.
Even though Birdman won the Oscar.
That's probably why he won't sign it, maybe?
Yeah.
Is it because he's still salty that he didn't win? He
Who
stood
did
up and
he lose to in the end?
he had his speech ready and he didn't get it.
Who did he lose to? Eddie Redmayne, maybe?
DiCaprio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because it was lead actor.
Revenant. Yeah, was it Revenant year? I thought Revenant year was Spotlight.
Birdman was the year before Revenant.
Yeah, so it would have been Theory of Everything, Eddie Redmayne, wouldn't it?
Let's have a look.
Or not?
I don't think it was Eddie Redmayne. Oh God, all the Oscar years bleed into one for me. It's really tough for me to remember.
87th Academy Awards. Let's have a look, guys. Oh no, you're right. Eddie Redmayne did win.
Yeah. Oh,
still not seen it.
I have. It's not that. It's a good film. Fear of Everything. It is a good film.
God damn. This bit of the film kind of frustrates me because it does have to kind of it falls into the trap of the villain has plenty of time to kill the hero and he just doesn't take it. It's kind of unavoidable for a film like this, but
don't you love the fact that that is the Daredevil intro sequence right there with the
such a shame what happened to those Netflix shows though. Especially
the final series of Jessica Jones came out last year was actually really good. Like really good.
The shows for the most part were solid, you know, like Punisher, especially Daredevil. Daredevil was
the only one that didn't work was Iron Fist.
I thought Defenders wasn't good. People said
Defenders wasn't good either.
Thing is, they did 2 series of Iron Fist, and for some reason, he was the hero they just actively refused to put in a costume. And when it got to season 2, the first thing that I asked someone was, "Oh, so he finally gets in, you know, in the green and yellow costume now?" He's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, so we finally see his training?" No.
Kevin Feige never signed off on it. It was before he was head of Marvel, wasn't it? That he never had any intention of doing it. And I think the deal allowed Netflix to have complete control, so that's why he just chose not to put it in anything.
But it's such a shame.
Hard. Yeah.
They nailed Daredevil though. That's the thing. You'll never get a more perfect Daredevil than that.
Do you think it'll be a bit of a Clone Wars thing where Clone Wars got cancelled because it was a deal with Cartoon Network? It was Cartoon Network show and Disney couldn't air it, so they had to cancel it to wait for a license to expire. Do we think it could be like that to then eventually pick it up? But then, however many years later, they've all aged.
They've got it. They've got it now. I think 100%. But
I was going to say you couldn't recast Daredevil. You couldn't recast Jessica Jones. You could recast the other two. Luke Cage would work. Like you can recast him. Like
the thing is, you won't. I don't want to see Disney's take on Netflix's Daredevil because they physically won't be. They're doing a Moon Knight series, and Moon Knight is meant to be like one of the Marvel Knights, which is, you know, like Blade. Well, they're doing Blade. They are moving into the Marvel Knights now. Maybe that would be a good opportunity to bring Daredevil in, who's part of that crew. But it won't have any of the grit. It won't have the, you know, the themes of it, the violence, which you need for Daredevil. It has to be violent.
Yeah.
Could they work better as Disney Plus shows? I know we've only had The Mandalorian, and it's not really like
they wouldn't have the same grit. They wouldn't do it. Because it's purely because it's Disney. It's a family-friendly platform. They won't do it. Don't Disney own stuff like Hulu? And I've heard that they have like other sort of if it could move to that, maybe.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they might own Hulu actually.
I'd love to see it come back, and especially because I never watched season 3 because I knew it got cancelled. I hate watching and getting invested in TV shows that I know won't have a payoff. But I think they were starting to set up Bullseye for season 4, and it's like we were so close. We were this close.
Didn't they mess up Punisher?
Apparently, it was
Punisher was
ridiculously
really
dark, like really dark.
John Bernthal was fantastic.
I saw him in Daredevil season 2, and then it kind of just stopped. And then
He got 2 seasons. He got 2 standalone seasons.
I remember that prison scene.
Oh yeah. But it's just, like even Daredevil, like Spider-Man's like the center of it all, really. Like even Daredevil and Spider-Man have a lot of sort of like issues in the comics together, and they work together a lot of the time. And it would have been great to have seen Charlie Cox's Daredevil go against, well, any Spider-Man really. It doesn't have to be Tom Holland. I would just love to have seen that. I have seen articles and stuff saying, like Charlie Cox rumored to be returning for an unnamed Disney project, and it's probably just all clickbaity articles.
I saw an article recently saying that Deborah Ann Woll hasn't been given a job since Daredevil ended, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Such a talented actress, and no work since then is crazy.
And the guy who played Foggy as well, just literally everything was perfect about the show. Daredevil series, season 2 had some missteps. I didn't really like the stuff with Elektra and what was it called, the Hand or whatever it was called, the Ninja Clan.
Well, they needed the Hand to play into Iron Fist, so they tried to pick it up and everything like that. So,
but it still did have some fantastic moments. But Daredevil season 1, that is one of the most tightly written, perfectly realized character studies I've ever seen. It was just amazing. It's like the Carmine Falcone scene from Batman Begins.
I love Falcone so much. I think the weird freak kid turns up again in the final scene.
Oh, so his roommate does know who he is in this then.
Is it the change from day to night here, which is...
Oh, the color grading, I just love it.
Yeah. Look at that.
Tell you what, Post Malone got their money's worth in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Did he get nominated for Best Song?
I think so. Because I heard this song. When did I remember? I think I heard it way before this film. Did it come out around about the same time?
It was made for the film, wasn't it?
Yeah, it must have done. But I remember hearing it loads before I went to see the film and went, oh, they're using that song. Well, we just hit credits. But, I mean, we've got to stay. We've got to stay for the scene of all scenes.
I don't think I've actually seen the end credit scenes before, so this is going to be interesting for me.
There's only one.
We've got over 10 minutes, so we'll kick back.
10 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember being 10 minutes. This is the point of the cinema. Like, whenever there's a Marvel film, like the film will finish, I will go on my phone and message everyone. Like,
Yeah.
this one was just like, whoa.
So we've still got 5 people watching. Let us. I mean, you must like the film if you're still watching, unless you're just tuning into us. But I mean, this movie still completely holds up for me. It's only been like a couple of years, and I've seen it probably last year. It's just amazing. It's just a love letter to Spider-Man, to comic books. Matches so many different kinds of styles. It's just an absolute joy to watch it.
It feels like you've got people that really like understand the characters and what they want to do with them, and that's been made crystal clear. And like I said, Sony's ticked it off. Like, okay, do it, because they've got Peter Parker, but Miles is the lead. You've smartly written Peter Parker into it, and you've been able to add in these Spider-Men who you can't ever put in live action.
So, if we've gained anything from this live stream,
wait, Liev Schreiber, isn't it? Who does he play?
Probably Tombstone.
I was thinking maybe Kingpin. Let me have a look.
Oh, it probably is Kingpin, actually. Let's have a look.
It might be Kingpin. You're right. If we've gained anything from this stream, it's that everyone who's watching currently right now needs to get at least 10 friends to subscribe to this channel, just so we can watch Chris shave off half his head with a
3K subscribers. I'm not shaving up my head.
3,000 subscribers by the end of the month, which means we've got at least 22 days to pick up, what is it, like 1,300 subscribers? So let as many people know as possible. Advertise this everywhere. And
you guys missed out on the whole
reenactment
of Cats in full costume and leotards. You missed out on that, guys. So
we're going to get to 2,000 by the end of the month for the Cats one. And we were going to do a full reenactment, me and Chris. I think George, we would have roped George into it, absolutely. But
which wrote me into what, sorry?
A reenactment of Cats, but we didn't reach the goal in time.
We can save my appearance for the Revenge of the Sith final scenes. Did we agree that Tate was Padme, Chris was Anakin, I'd be Obi-Wan?
I need the script up in front of me, otherwise I'll get parts of it wrong. I kind of know it.
You kind of know the least words.
Anakin, you're breaking my heart. Is that it?
You continue.
You're continuing down a path that I can't follow.
Close enough. I'll take it. Because of Obi-Wan. Oh, it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. It's the power stance of wow, that was the.
You turned her against me.
You have done that yourself.
Hey, that's my line, Tate. Back down. You're getting force choked at this point, aren't you? Or about to.
You're already passed out.
Yeah.
It's the way she was like. It's like and like.
He delicately like lays her on the ground.
Okay, whilst the credits are scrolling even further, we're going to give you the social media links up on the screen again, just so you guys know where to go to get further updates on videos. We actually created this video based off a poll on the Facebook and Twitter, and also on YouTube as well through the community tab. So if you follow any of those social media pages, you should be able to keep up to date with what videos we have upcoming next and everything
this
like
did
that.
beat Shrek the first.
Yes.
And Hercules.
Yes.
So
and also, the only other video that we actually have planned at the moment with a date set and the time set is going to be next Thursday. So that is Thursday the 14th at 8:30 in the evening, which is going to be the animated movie quiz. So if you know your animated movies, if you know your movies like this, there may be a question or two about this film in there. So please make sure that you brush up on that kind of stuff and tune in at 8:30 on the 14th.
And if you haven't already seen that action movie quiz and you like action films, give it a go. You can watch it on demand. You didn't have to watch it live. It's done in a way
challenging, we've been told. So if you like a challenge, go and watch it. Tell us what your score is at the end as well.
And we know we are doing so this watch along with sober. We're not drinking every weekend. No. Was it every 4 weeks? We kind of unofficially said.
Once a month, I think it was.
And is the next one Attack of the Clones?
I think it's got to be Attack of the Clones, hasn't it?
Has to be Attack of the Clones. We'll continue through and complete the trilogy.
I love doing Phantom Menace. It was good fun doing.
Yeah,
Phantom Menace was fun.
Rick Ollie killed us.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this time we can toast a Coleman Treble for those that know.
Mm-hmm. That'll be the bonus rule, I think.
Probably. Tried to end the Clone Wars before it even started. He knew what he was doing.
Are we going to drink for every clone?
Oh God!
Is there liquor in the world? The shot of the army, and that happens twice.
I mean, what would you do? What is it like? 10,000 are ready to go, with 1 million more well on the way. Like, Jesus. Legend has it he still drinks to this day. Right?
I'm just trying to think. We can't do lightsabers igniting on this one because
the arena scene.
The arena would absolutely just like.
You could probably do it every time a limb gets chopped off someone. Because there's a fair few if you want to really.
An arm, you get a head.
Another arm.
Yeah. Oh, is that Zam Wessel?
Yeah.
It was never completely clear to me whether she got her arm cut off because she kind of holds it straight away, so I didn't know if she just got slapped.
I'm just going to have a look at some suggested.
You need
suggested things.
Drink have like a subjective drinking challenge.
Tusken Raider head gets chopped off as well.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's what there's one that someone's made online already. The words Jedi, Padawan, or Separatists are said. Someone loses their head. Lightsabers are drawn, or someone loses their lightsaber. So drawn, not ignited, just drawn.
They're They're lying because there's the arena.
Obi-Wan talks. Can we have Obi-Wan talks down to Anakin because we had Qui-Gon talks down to everyone else in the last one. So Obi-Wan talks down. C-3PO makes a pun. Someone free falls. Anakin kills the Sand people as a down your drink, and Yoda draws his lightsaber as a down your drink.
I like the one about what was the last but second one you said there?
Free fall.
One before it.
I'm sorry, I haven't got it up anymore. The one before it was C-3PO makes pun.
That was a good one because I always hated that.
Is there any Clay Glass ones? He's not really that much of a Rick Ollie, is he?
She is my wife.
She's my wife. Face it, she's dead. What else is there? I'm sorry.
I'd like a subjective one where you just subjectively take a drink every time you cringe at the Anakin Padme at a Anakin Padme scene.
There's the pair with the CGI.
Every time they kiss is another suggestion. Whenever someone says R2, oof. I know that's said quite a lot. A ship or vehicle is destroyed. Padme has a wardrobe change again. Padme has a wardrobe change again is another suggested.
In every movie.
Wow.
That should definitely be a consistent one. No, I am buzzing for Attack of the Clones. It's been a while since I've seen that one. I always tend to go Phantom Menace or especially Episode 3, but it should be good. So how much more have we got on these credits? I think whenever you get to music, you're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there now, Tate. So is this the first time you're watching the post-credit scene then, Tate?
Yeah, I previously haven't watched through it. I'm guessing it's because I've only ever watched this on really kind of DVD. So it's always like you never really skip through. You just kind of, the film's over. I'll just move on. Yeah.
We won't talk over it so you can take it in because it's glorious. Not this song, sorry, the credit scene I meant.
This is why I stay in the credits for animated films, because you always get fun stuff.
The Spider-Man Christmas album.
Which was apparently a thing.
I mean, it's something Sony would do if they could.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I do think they are worse than Disney. It's just that they don't have big franchises to do it. This is the only franchise they have to ruin.
Well, they tanked Ghostbusters. Oh, they've still got it, haven't they? Because we've got the new one coming out.
Sorry, is that production babies? Babies that were born during production? Oh, my God.
Oh, here we go.
Optimized for IMAX. Sony logo.
Oh,
Okay,
here we go. Post-credit scene.
Nueva York. Oh.
He's going to go back to when Palpatine returned.
I was expecting it to be something serious or something like that.
Oh, no.
my
So
god!
worth the wait. I have
Contender
no
for
idea.
possible one of the best post-credit scenes.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't need to set anything up. It's
No.
just a glorious reference to 60s Batman. And the meme from 60s Batman too.
Okay, I believe that is, I think, the perfect way we can close off this stream. So, I will say thank you ever so much, everyone, for watching. We hope you enjoyed watching back through Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe thing, because we definitely want to see Chris with the hand imprint shaved
3K,
onto his
let's
head.
do it.
3K, 22 days. We can do this, guys. We can get there. Okay. So, thank you ever so much once again for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.